Hey, welcome. Today we're gonna talk about how to define your software sprints to do more. You know, the problem is that there is different type of companies. Probably you may have a corporation, you may have a startup, you can have a small business. They all want to have something agile. They have the same need. They need something agile. They need the development team to be agile and to code fast. They have high quality software, but actually the needs are different for each company. So you may have like a big corporation, like the big guys, that they have very structured layers of, uh, of work in order to deploy an application. For example, you have many different environments. For example, development environment, then development environment for another sector of the company, then integration environment, then you promote that environment to the early users, and then finally you go to production. So there's many different steps or walls. So actually those is harder to be agile, because actually it may take a couple of months until you are able to push a fix to live users. That's the way it is. They also have security layers. So if it doesn't pass security, then everything goes back to development and they start again. These problems, these corporations having this structure, and it's harder to be agile. And we also have startups, like very agile startups that they do continuous deployment and integration, and they push in the same day fixes. For example, Slack was known, part of the success was that they fix everything in the same day. When they got a request, something not working, they just push it in the same day, because they had some people that were just doing fixes. Which is actually, I think, is the way to go, because you need to be agile in order to make fixes, but you cannot have the team to do fixes all the time. So you need to have these support engineers that are actually, giving support in the technical level to the users that are having problems and to other companies that are having problems. And then you have, startups that are able to push features and enhancements on a daily basis, and even doing A/B testing and testing with early users in the same environment as the production or live environment. So those startups are very dynamic. They hear, in the forums or somewhere else from the users saying, hey guys, we need to have this new feature or this new enhancement, and maybe in 2 or 3 days they got it. The users start using that enhancement or testing that new feature, and that's really great, because the development process is very agile, and that's thanks due to the sprints. What's a sprint? And a sprint is, like the runners, you start and say, hey, start running. So the runners just focus on the ending line, They just, when they are going to start running, they just focus on the ending line. So it's the same thing for the developers. They focus that they need to complete a small number of tasks at the end of this sprint. That is, the length varies from, for different structure and different companies. Sometimes it's per day, sometimes per week. A week sprint, 2-week sprint, 1 month sprint. Depends on, the amount of things that the developers need to do. Also the requirements from the company, because maybe you need to have many help from other people in the company, and that's not possible to do it in a week, because these people are busy with other things. There's many circumstances that can vary and define, what you really need in the sprint. So why sprints are important? Because you focus your people. Your people are focused on doing something. So this focus is very important, because if you don't allow your people to be focused, then you're not gonna have great results in a sprint. That's the way it is. It's like the runner, the sprinter in athletics. You say, hey, start running, and then he start running for the 100 meters, for the 1500 meters, and then suddenly a journalist is there and, hey, give me a smile, and then somebody else is saying, hey, no, he's focused. I mean, he's like this. I need to run. I need to go to the end of the sprint. So that's why it's a sprint. So if you got a sprint and you got in your developers many distractions here from there, you're not gonna get results. I mean, that's the way it is. So that's why some companies say, okay, let's go for the daily sprint, because then tomorrow we can do something else. Maybe tomorrow we need the developers get support for somebody, or start discussing something else. So that way you have very short iterations, so that that's not blocking your company. Because actually, if you have long sprints, other people in the company are gonna have requests for the developers, or support tickets and that kind of thing. So then they are not focused, they are interrupted. And then the things that, it makes no sense, because the sprint is not effective, because there's so many distractions. So that's why companies, sometimes a company needs a longer sprint, because it's not enough 1 day or 1 week, because there's many things going on, and saying, hey, we need more time, we need more time, we need more time. But you don't need more time, you need more focus. And you need, of course, good developers that are agile, that are able to code fast, that don't require too much support. Because if the developers require too much support, they start making questions. Guess who they ask? Other developers that are doing many important things. So then everybody's asking things all this time, and then just things get a bit nasty, because people don't move in the work. But at the other time, the other side of the picture is that people need their questions to be answered. So you're working on something and suddenly you got, say, I don't know how the front is going to integrate this. And then, when you have front backend people, you need to ask the front people, because you are not autonomous. So you need to ask other people, or maybe the requirements are not met right, are not defined right. So you need to define them in the good way. So then you need forgot to put my mic today. So you need to get those requirements. So maybe, and this is often in the companies, they go so fast. They try to code so fast that there's no document anything. Not almost nothing is documented. So you don't have a documenting place where you can check the information. So you need to ask. But these iterations make that people are not effective, because if people are answering questions, every day, then things will just not work out. So, these are the challenges. You need on demand, but you need focus. So the good challenge is how you have both, how you have focus and on demand. Lately these tools like Slack and Teams and all these, chatting, that's great, because it's great for the on demand. For example, for some people, having the whole team in the whole company being on demand all the time is great, because they can ask something and then somebody stops doing what he's doing and answers to you. That's great, because for the people that have questions, it's amazing, because you just get support all the time, But actually those people stop doing what they're doing, and then they probably were already thinking in a way, and they were being productive in that way of thinking. So suddenly you interrupt them and they need to get back to the thing they were doing, which is not very effective. It is more effective to be, 30 minutes, 1 hour, not interrupted in something you need to do, than, you have the window, the door open, anybody can enter and ask you anything. It's like when you are working in a shop, you have the door open, or in a bank, in a bank branch, you have the door open, anybody can come at any time. It can ask you, it can tell you, it can say your business sucks, all sorts of things. So it's the same thing with the Teams and Slack. You have the door open. Anybody can get there and ask you things. And suddenly you get, the chats, you get so many questions and all that. So it's a trade-off. You need to define a flow so that some questions are answered. One way is having meetings, because then, okay, you have these questions. Let's schedule a meeting for tomorrow at 11, and then we will go over it. And that's more effective, because at that time, for 20 minutes, you stop your work, you know that you're gonna answer questions, you can prepare the meeting, you go to the meeting, and then you provide support to the people that needs. So that's effective, because you are working on your things, you got a meeting, and then you answer questions, and then you go back to productive work. So that's a good way to structure the sprints. Instead of having, that chatting all the time, schedule meetings, or even schedule meetings in Slack. Say, well, we don't need to talk, we can just chat, but you need to limit the chat, because otherwise it just gets gets really crazy. So you need to work on a way to do it, because actually developers have questions and they need to be answered, but it needs to be answered in a non-blocking way, because people need to have focus and need to answer those questions in the best time for them, not in the best time for you. So the thing will be, answer the question, not in the best time for the people, for the guy making the question, but for the guy that is answering the question and needs to have focus in order to finish work. There's other strategies. For example, you can say, okay, from 9 to 10, our developers are in support mode. They are, discussing, making questions to other people in the company to get requirements, discussing between them, how to do something better. And then they are in focus mode. And then say, okay, at 2 p.m., from 2 to 3, there's support time, support mode. And then again, they are, answering and giving support to the problems that happened during the morning. And then at the end of the day, maybe they can have also another session, but you got it structured. It's very, so everybody knows that not everybody is available anytime, that you need to ask a certain time. But it works, because you can actually push code every day that way, because the first thing in the morning, you can discuss, you can have your daily meetings there in the morning, the first thing in the morning, then all the questions are answered. So you force is a forcing function that I love. The forcing function, if you haven't heard of them, I love this concept from Dan Martell, and it's actually that you have something external which is forcing you to do something. So that daily meeting is like a forcing function for people to start thinking on the problems they're going to have in the whole day. And the best thing is that in daily meeting, for some time, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, that's my thinking, you get those discussions. And then you say, okay, today I'm going to need this requirement. Today I'm going to need this thing from the front. Today I'm going to need this thing from the back end. And everything is discussed there. That's the idea. But actually, when you start working, you see that you have problems you didn't think of. So that's why during the day, another meeting to discuss things is good, so that people, are answering questions. So My thinking, my opinion is that if you don't close the Slack and the Teams, Slack and Teams is the best tool to ruin your company and to ruin your project, because if people are asking all the time, you don't get anything done. And then you get at 5 p.m. at the end of the day and you say, what did I do today? Well, yeah, we discussed many things, but what did I really do today? I mean, in terms of productive work. And in the other side, then you can have it more structured. And I assure you, at the end of the day, you have something you can push to life, you can push to production, and your users can benefit, because there's many tasks that can be done in a day. The fixes, the small enhancements, small features. For the big features, you're gonna need more than 1 day. But for those, you will be pretty safe. Just shortening your sprints in case it's possible, because for some company, maybe it's not possible. You need 15 days because there's not enough time and you need interaction from other people that are in other meetings and in other places, and you need that information in order to push things out. So I hope you enjoy, and as always, do more and move faster in market. Thank you for joining, Pi.